Here we go, bans for our first game, and this will be, I believe, a 3 out of 5 set as we move into semifinals. So some targeted bans there. That Dodrio, certainly one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah, first time that Pokemon is banned in our tournament. So a hard call out to what Kratos has been playing in that central area just moments ago. Revelation gonna have a few options, but that Blaziken that was so phenomenal for Lunar earlier is going to be banned by the very team themselves. That does mean Dispenza gets their hands on the Suicune though.
Oh, such a nice pick to be able to pick up as the first, or as like your second pick, essentially.
Yep.
Your first pick on the second side. There we go. Honestly, a very scary set of special attackers to be able to grab, but Flareon's potentially on the Mew. Okay, that one. Well, that's still up in the air. That's still potential as they switched around. Kratos picking up that Leafeon. Another great choice. I mean, you ban away that Dodrio and you just get another power pick.
So I have to admit, I was pretty surprised to see Revelation pick this Inteleon in that first pick spot over the Snorlax, which feels like such a phenomenal pick for Pikadiff, and more importantly, you're taking it away from Zugrug, but this Inteleon was banned against Revelation back-to-back games in their quarterfinal matchup, but of course, Orange Juicer's throwing a curveball and picking Leafeon Buzzwole in that second pick spot, meaning that Zugrug is going to return to the Lapras.
I feel like the Buzzwole was the most interesting pick there, where maybe you could have taken away that Snorlax instead, but I do really like the Lapras, especially considering the fact that there's the Inteleon on the other side, so maybe that was the entire point to begin with. But the Comfey, a very, very interesting pick. I'm assuming, actually, how are they going to split this up among their players?
Yeah, it's going to be a Psyduck attacker is what we are going to be looking at in this game. Very interesting. It will still have EXP share. I think Zugrug is going to enjoy getting their Unite move a little bit earlier on in this matchup. And we'll have Psyduck focusing, well, primarily on damage. However, item set, it almost like we're running 3 supports. I think that basically is the fair way to describe this composition. Starting with a Resonant Guard and a Focus Band, that is going to be definitely a team player on the Duck.
Well, there's not a lot of traditional tankiness on the other side, so the high amount of support might be an intentional choice just because they know that there's nothing they need to super burn down. And of course, if we're talking about supports, we don't have really a true support on the side of Revelation, so there's not going to be any healing or any like significant self-sustain. I mean, there will be some certainly, except for maybe the Snorlax using a Unite or something like that. So good. I like the draft strategy.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the interesting things about these non-healer compositions starting to become so popular. Things like Buddy Barrier on top of these. You have to be so preemptive with your Snorlax Unite move, where in the past you definitely had to play a little more defensive, try to play it a bit safer. Instead, now initiating a fight with a Buddy Barrier to back it up is a very viable strategy. But let's get into it, NAIC. Game number 1 of our semifinals, Orange Juicers versus Revelation.
Gotta see which of these teams will make it to tomorrow on the main stage for grand finals, and both these teams really want it. North America obviously putting on a pretty good show this weekend, aside from the fact that we of course just had the numbers qualifying for our 5th world spot, which is a ridiculous thing to say. But here we are. Which of these North American teams is going to come out on top?
A very interesting path matchup. Obviously, Buzzwole so strong as soon as we get access to that superpower, but they're going into a Suicune very early. That is so much crowd control, even for an Ultra Beast to have to deal with.
Well, you say that. We still haven't seen the Suicune yet, because over here, Flareon's with the invade. Well, technically the double invade now. And I mean, I would love to see just how that one's going. Gonna get some nice scores there. But yeah, look at this. Double buff I see on the Leafeon at the moment. I see only 1 buff taken in their own center area, so we can assume there was a steal.
Yeah, Kratos feeling great about taking all that EXP. The one backdrop is that they won't get any knockouts this early. They're loving to stack up that Excel Bracer, so going to be shallow on that, but of course taking away both those buffs, so important, mostly because we still got a Kubfu on Celeste.
Yeah, that really needs to evolve. You can see it's kind of at the gatekeep spot where it's got a ton of the, like one big, either like a KO or one really nice wild Pokemon, and it could evolve just from that alone.
Not many of those left with Kratos on the case, taking yet another red buff. So Roland and Kratos on this tag team duo. Flareon sort of playing the backup all the way out here. Grassthorn hits multiple targets. Roland lines up a ton of damage. The Aegislash will be trying to join Lunaire, trying to get some of that EXP. But Flareons and Roland are going to be making their way out of the fight.
To be honest, Psyduck with a Comfey on it might be the most invincible thing in this game.
Yeah, it already was. It feels like, a cherry on top.
Yeah, you don't even need the Comfey at that point. But that is a great way to help Flareons just get out of there. Actually, more so, it was helping Roland get out of there, right?
Yeah,
if we're being 100% honest.
Yes.
Pikachuff very, very low going down to the bottom path. It seems like everybody's going to kind of split up back to their paths, and not a whole lot to farm in the center for now. The Urshifu has evolved, and Flareon's once again just getting out barely, as is the classic with Psyduck.
Yeah, this has been so fantastic to keep Revelation's top path carry and central area in check, but reminder, just a Lapras and a Psyduck are not a lot to write home and secure, so Oblivion almost at level 7 already on this Inteleon, which they have apparently been infamous for in our tournament, even eliciting some bans.
Yeah, that's we just haven't gotten a chance to see it. It's just the knowledge, right,
exactly.
is everything. So we are going to see a pretty big push down here. The heavy slam landing into a beautiful snipe shot. Thank you for the example. Another snipe shot landing as nobody can quite get out of there. There's going to be a pretty significant amount of damage back, but it's mostly to Pikachuff. Oh, we are going to see those Celestial get taken down, and that's a great counter KO, at least for the side of Revelation.
Cruel and unusual punishment from Kratos. They left those Razor Leaf up for so long so that Pikachuff just barely thought they could have gotten away, but no such luck, neither for Linares. They also fall to this Leafeon, brought down by the Whirlpool, though, as they take that KO. Snorlax to try to buy a little bit of time, but it's the Water Pulse from Lapras that takes it. Sweet Kiss bringing them both in. What a huge pull as Sluggrogue and Roland and Psyduck. They might be defenders, they might be supports, but they are absolutely causing some carnage.
Oh my goodness. This is looking really, really good as Pikachuff is just like, please, leave me alone, you scary duck. This is a fight that probably won't end for a while. Oh, I really like this. Pikachuff with some really great routing over into the center area, saying, you know what, if you're going to attack me, maybe I'll do a little bit of damage to your own Pokemon, maybe I can steal it away, maybe I'll just waste a little bit more of your time. And currently, still going for a little bit of a chill stroll, finally put to sleep, literally as it lands from the heavy slam. Do like to see that. But in the meantime, Regieleki up top, not being really attacked quite yet. Lunar will be the first one there, Celestial as well. Regieleki getting burned down so quickly, and honestly, that freeze from Dispenza is going to keep OG away pretty much in time to not even be able to challenge that last hit.
Kind of shocked OG didn't make a faster push. With no level 9 on the Aegislash, they don't have that coup de grace Unite to first secure it, but they do have that Emerald 2-step. Kratos pulling in all the way there, so the Sweet Kiss will be even more impactful. Does get knocked out by Pikachuff. Roland absorbs that snipe shot. What a play from the Comfey. There's 2. What amazing coverage. Just simply not allowing Oblivion to have value. That Leafeon is safe and sound with that Comfey behind him. Or around him? I don't know how to describe it.
Around, behind, above, I don't know. But I've said this before, Comfey is it can be one of the lowest skill expression Pokemon in the game, but when you get to the highest level of Comfey, I think it's extremely high. I think the highest level of play of Comfey is amazing to see. I think the first time I ever really saw that and realized that in my brain was watching Inder play Comfey, and I'm like, oh, wow. Like, you can be so smart as a player on this Pokemon. When I play it, I'm AFK and I'm watching shows and I'm winning ranked matches, but that's not how you're supposed to play it. All right, a fight down on bottom as we're going to be pushing through.
Wow, OG having a perfectly timed eject button to dodge multiple sources of crowd control in that situation. They're able to bail. Big attack by Kratos. So again, that Comfey pocket doing them favors, but what a response from Pikachuff. That buddy barrier really helping, not to mention the knock-up. And finally, Revelation gets a fight in their favor.
Sluggrogue coming in to try and defend, but once again, Snorlax is so good.
Yeah.
We've seen that all day. That's like a common thing for years, but standing behind the goal zone, pushing everybody back, saying you can't even try to defend this goal zone. You are physically incapable of reaching it, and doing a good job of breaking it, and they needed those points.
Imagine if he had goal zone hacker.
Oh, that's the new meta.
Yeah, they'd lose the match. Okay, we're going to be rotating up towards the Regieleki very soon, very likely. Orange Juicers obviously having a bit of an advantage in that way. The Tier 1 Gold Stone up near an objective gives you a safe place to retreat to, not to mention a bit of a quicker rotation, but it will be Revelation, the first ones to strike. OG, again, just playing very patiently, comfortable in their ability to defend against the Regieleki, ever defensive OJ.
Wow, they burned that down so incredibly incredibly quickly, and now I'm sure they want to just continue to burn down the enemy team. That's going to be 1 KO. Orange Juicers is going to lose OG as they're going to continue to push through. Kratos with the one currently with the Comfey on it is going to be jumping around, but Roland not going to be able to, I think, help them defend all that well. Not when you're using Grass Knot. There's going to be a double KO for Kratos. That's pretty good, at least at getting something. Flareon's trying to escape, does get KO'd. Can Celestial escape? Probably not, especially with Zugrug coming in as well. But oh my goodness, hold on a minute. Oh, that was an inch from winning that. Holy
jeez, yeah, you knock out the Leafeon, and obviously you got to deal with the Comfey right after. And normally, I think DukeSex would call that a BOGO deal. I don't think so when Roland's playing it right now. It is still a hot contention battle. But either way, Orange Juicers able to rally back. They do lose that gold zone, though. So with that transition, Revelation will gain the points momentum. 225 to 218, an extremely close match, but they are in the lead.
Oh, she just tossed the ball toy back and just kept walking. It was
Get out
really
of
funny
here.
looking. But Registeel now being challenged, Pikatif moving forward and just building space. Ooh, that snipe shot was an inch from connecting. A really good call, but they are just going to bring down this Registeel like they've been doing for pretty much every single objective to secure not super strong and Orange Juices. Registeel will go down once again to a snipe shot. Everybody getting caught in the middle. OG going down. Flareon's going to have to try and escape. Kratos really going greedy, trying to take down as many as they possibly can, but a great freeze is going to allow them to turn around. Unite coming out from the Comfey, and so they will escape, which is pretty amazing. Hold on, there's still a chance to catch. No, they are out of there, but that was scary.
Wow, Orange Juicers taking a terrible situation and making a pretty good scenario out of it. They do get 100 points in that tier 2. They had a Celestial versus Zugrug 1v1, went in the favor of Celestial, but we still got 100 points in. Rayquaza already halfway down. Aegislash in prime position right now, looking for the secure. Snipe shot should be available, and it will go to Revelation. I mean, picture perfect positioning from that team.
That was exactly where you want to be. The secure power of Aegislash is one of the best things about that Pokemon. It just does everything. And that was, I mean, exactly how you wanted that to go. Flareon's sad in the pip, down on bottom, scoring their 8 points, turning into 16, while these, I don't know, 500 points turn into almost 1,000 from the side of Revelation. That was an awkward engage for sure. That's the best thing that I can say. Like you said, Orange Juicers turned that situation into something pretty good for them, but Revelation turned that situation that wasn't as good for them into really good positioning.
Yeah, I'd say pretty good, but not great. They're able to get dunks, but they do have to, Zugrug still has to recall after that. They used the Lapras Express to escape the Urshifu, so it's not like they could use it to rejoin the fight around the Rayquaza, so they don't have that big shield or the chance to rejoin the battle. Of course, that just gets really awkward after that. All of Revelation is 5 in the pit. Not only does that give them a great chance to secure, it also prevents Orange Juicers from being in position to body block the Inteleon. That is something that doesn't get talked about as often. Inteleon, if there's an enemy Pokemon in that Rayquaza pit, it's really tough for that snipe shot to work. But if your whole team's there, how are they going to even get in?
If I'm being honest, I will say I thought the coup de grace missed. I thought it auto-targeted something else. It went like horizontal, and it looked like it missed to me. We'll see it again probably in the replay.
Yeah, I think their early game focus was phenomenal. Just until it wasn't. After that, the Urshifu and Aegislash just kind of scaling a little bit too far ahead where they couldn't catch up any longer. I do think a Psyduck first pick is a fantastic choice. We are going to see the Suicune locked in on the other side, though. The Blissey, the Garchomp bands, you got to expect to be dealing with some kind of top-level threat. So now we have Orange Juicers, a chance to respond. I really think you should be picking up the Snorlax in this position if you're OJ. It just feels so strong for your team, and of course, cutting that option away from Pikatif just feels fantastic, but OJ believing in these damage selections here in our second wave.
Looking to be a pretty similar pick. Well, they chose a defender immediately. Again, I do get the concept of this against the Inteleon, but...
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Right. But I do still think that picking away Snorlax is still a great choice. Especially, I do feel like Pikatif as a player is particularly good with Snorlax. In my opinion,
great.
I think it's just one of those ones where you just want to take it away. I mean, he's been really good at Umbreon as well in the past, but Umbreon not in the meta at the moment, so I'm really curious as to where they would flex if they made them make that choice. They didn't make them make that choice, so I'm talking entirely in hypotheticals.
All right, well, Kratos is going to have one of their birds banned. They will remain on the other. So the Talonflame going to be locked in. Flareon's believing in the Mew. And you better believe I also believe in said Mew. I have taken some pretty big L's to it this weekend.
No, you won. But
that's true. I technically won.
You did win. So that is a 0% win rate against you. Flareon's on the Mew, I think is going to be really, really good. That does solve a lot of the problem of the Secure. Same thing with the Talonflame now being on the team. I think they're going to get a little bit more, a lot more mobility as well in that case. So they should be able to kind of approach a lot more of these objectives and fights in the ways that they want to. On the other side, though, Absol has had a really, really good record today, and it's got a lot of great targets, I think, on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I don't think Celestial liked being cub food 7 minutes.
No.
I think he's thinking it's time to swap that up, locking in the Absol, Excel Bracer, Razor Claw, Scopelets, and that X attack. Very spicy battle item that is going to be a terrifying Unite move, specifically if you were a wild Pokemon named Rayquaza. I would watch out for it, because that is a devastating amount of damage.
Another thing that I really liked as we were just watching them for a moment was Dispenza on the support Suicune. And that was something that I said that we didn't really get a chance to see a lot of this weekend. We saw a lot of just attacker Suicune, which obviously extremely strong as well. But I'm a really big fan of the support Suicune. You see it has the Cursed Incense as well, just that it can help with any sort of healing. But there was just so many situations where Dispenza was able to control the pace of the match, stop people from being where they wanted to be. It really showed the value. Obviously, Suicune can kind of just do whatever you want. You could probably play Defender Suicune if you wanted to, and it would work out pretty well.
Exactly. It is a Pokemon that fits into so many roles, and I would say one of the best fits for it is winning games. It has done phenomenally at filling up that position. But okay, here we go. Game number 2 between Orange Juicers and Revelation. Crowd, send these teams your energy. We're headed into this best of 5 game 2.
And if there is a set to lose the first game in, this is the one you want to lose the first game in because it's a 3 out of 5. So Orange Juicers are going to have to make that adaptation. But Revelation, I feel like they're on so much momentum. It's infinite momentum. You just can't stop them. And right now, though, it looks like Orange Juicers are the ones that are going to be aggressive.
Yeah, OG trying to take that Buttlebee back into their own tall grass, look for the Secure, but again, that Suicune early, such a devastating threat for the Buzzwole to deal with. They do have the backup of Roland on Psyduck this time around, so a lot more crowd control, a little less healing though.
Ooh, this is very close. Oh, yeah. Wow. Oh, my goodness. I was about to say there, they must really think that they can get a pick right there if they're going to walk up that close. And honestly, maybe they could have waited a little bit for Celestial to come in, but I guess it's not going to matter because Celestial's still going to pick up a KO. A fight on bottom as well. Rare to see kind of big fights on both sides this early on, but I guess these teams just really want this win, a double KO streak as well.
Yeah, it's honestly rare to see mismatches these days. With how much information is gained with these aggressive pushes around the goal zones, we often see rotations to the same path, but Celestial is going to get a few KOs, not to mention Lunaria is going to be way closer to Aegislash than they were in our last game.
This is a scary flank situation. Oh, this is not what you want, but having to back out, Celestial only connecting on Zugrug. By the way, the passive is going to be great against Absol as well, but also a rotation down from Dispenza. Not anything gained from the side of Revelation.
Jeez, a level 5 Fletchinder was trying to recall in that tall grass, and Oblivion just fell Stinger 2. Pikatif read him like a book. A bird watcher of a Snorlax tackles them. They do still make it away, I think only at the Drizzile. No snipe shot to chase down the Talon. Orange Juicers thanking their lucky stars about that one.
Yeah, that was almost a disaster.
Yeah.
There's nothing scarier than being found when you're backing. But now a little bit of a fight maybe forced this 8-minute mark of XP, and I think Roland is going to be added to that list of experience. Ooh, Kratos as well going to add to that experience. Looks like maybe they were able to steal away a little bit of it, but a little bit of a run-in one-at-a-time situation for the side of Orange Juicers. They are finally doing some damage, but it's a scary situation, and they gave up a whole lot, considering the fact that, I'm sorry, who was on Revelation? Oh, it was Celestial has the Excel Bracer, right?
Yeah, exactly. So on that Absol, every single KO or assist will just be scaling up their attack damage even more. Already a terrifying thing to see. Revelation playing really well against this Talonflame. Every single time we see that Brave Bird, this team scatters. Do not want to see those Aerial Ace resets whatsoever. So this team is going north, south, west, and east anytime these team fights are popping off.
And I do like the Aerial Ace choice, as they're going to be moving in, though, still. I was about to say Wide Guard, not as easy to use against Aerial Ace, but they immediately used it against Aerial Ace and then got the return KO. So what do I even know about this video game? Certainly nothing. Aegislash, such a good Pokemon. They're waiting as long as they possibly can. They're making sure that they can get the max overdunk, which is going to be 25. So a pretty decent lead for Revelation. I won't say it's strong until it's at least 100, but they're going to take a Regieleki going towards the Tier 2 goal zone as well, right on top of that.
What a flip of the script from Game 1 into Game 2. I mean, early game could not be more different. Revelation controlling the entire map, the EXP race, and even the points, albeit rather small. So far, this Regieleki walking towards this Tier 2. Talonflame trying to cut them off.
Oh, the flame sweep length 2 into the wall, but unfortunately just puts them into a tough situation they don't want it to be in. Regieleki goes in, and now they've got to back up. Unite's being popped just to try and escape, but this is just bad situation after bad situation for the Juicers.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure Superpower brought said Regieleki into Gold Zone. Well, it looked phenomenally cool. Unfortunately, it does result in a whole lot of points for Revelation. OJ kind of sitting there scratching their heads about how to come back in this game. Electro Ball and some mage damage from Mew might be a good way to get it started. Celestial pulled one to Psyduck, and they're deleting.
All right, that's actually a huge KO for them. Highest level member of Revelation at 11. We're just now meeting another level 11 on Aegislash, but that's going to be a great amount of EXP for Orange Juicers, who are still significantly behind. Maybe an attempt to heavy slam steal here, not going to be close enough. And so Pika Diff might be going down as well. No, I don't know. That's a mix-up. I don't know if I'm going to guess that one. Snipe shot just going barely short of hitting Zugrug. Another snipe shot barely short of Flareon. So a pretty good escape. I'm sorry, I love seeing the Pokemon fly up into the air with that one.
And look at the effect of this early game lead. In any other world, with that Registeel buff, Orange Juicers is making a push onto the enemy Tier 1. They just don't have the Unite moves to try to compete. Revelation pushing their advantage now. Pika Diff cutting off the backup, allowing the rest of their damage carries to fight on top of Tier 1. Orange Juicers rallying together quite well. Zugrug chasing down their old teammate will knock out the Absol on a great Lapras flank. All right, I gotta stop doubting the Lapras. It's working out great for Zug.
Yeah, right now, though, trying to 1v3 is a little bit scary. They do know that there's some good backup. Unfortunately, we've seen a decent amount of missed snipe shots this time around, landing so many last time, but, oh my,
there you go.
Okay, yeah, there. As they're being dove by the Brave Bird, or by the Bird, and now the Buzzwole as well. They're just getting dove by everybody. They do manage to find that KO on the Inteleon, so the snapshots will not exist anymore, at least for a little while. Absol, though, and Suicune more than a strong enough front line to be able to hold off this push.
We've been seeing a lot of fights like that from Orange Juicers throughout this matchup. Just really aggressive pushes while not having numbers advantage because they're playing from behind. If they can steal a KO or something like that, the comeback experience would be phenomenal, and the risk is actually not that high on the other side. I think the problem, or maybe the criticism, is that we've seen a lot of those throughout this matchup, even when we were at parity. So Revelation's been punishing so far, and it looks like we're going to continue to do so in the scoring race as yet another Regieleki lands, and Kratos goes for an extremely late Brave Bird.
That was a little bit late. That was like a ping diff. There's no ping, so that is a joke. But
legally,
I need to remind that it just feels like me trying to play on like OC servers and get a final hit on something. But they are going to be able to catch on Oblivion. I don't think Oblivion's getting out of this one for free. Dispenza going in to try and save. I lied. Oblivion may be getting out of this one for free. Wow, barely avoids getting KO'd by Flareons by an inch. We're going to see Flareons, okay, finally going to be able to make that happen. But maybe trading his own life. You're gonna hit a bunch of people potentially with this Unite. Great escape from Celestial. Does get picked up by someone else, though. I do have to, though, commend the mobility.
The context of knowing what move Flareon's now is equipped is so funny. That whole time they were chasing around, they had coaching, and they're like, please, somebody join me so I can get out of this situation. Great secure and rally back by Orange Juicers. So signs of life from this OJ team. Still falling behind. They have a minute until the final stretch to get some levels back and hopefully swing a team fight in their way. Revelation, on the other hand, are already thinking about what it's going to look like to be in Championship Sunday with this 1-0 advantage. Want to push it to 2.
Believe it or not, Orange Juicers have the level lead now, which is wild to say. They did hit their 13s first, they hit their 12s first.
Wow, Buzzwole missing the eject point, but it doesn't matter. Flareon's able to get the snipe on that Mew, and now OG is going to be taking down Dispenza. There is 20 seconds, so the respawns will be available, but there is no way that Orange Juicers is going to be giving up this positioning. They are shutting down this Ray Pit.
Orange Juicers have the ability now to be the ones that are almost on the offensive, right? They get to take wherever they want to take for this final stretch. They are going to back up quite a bit. I think they're scared of the snipe shots maybe from Oblivion, or I shouldn't say scared, but they're wary of. They don't want to just get clipped before this fight even begins, because some fights can begin before they end with snipers like that.
All right, well, Orange Juicers will have control of at least the entrance to the Rayquaza pit. However, neither team has intel around the top side. No one going on a long rotation. Instead, these teams want to trust in their poke damage and set up a solid fight. Silgar getting some damage on Rayquaza. Hopefully some auto attacks from them will go in their favor with that Twister.
Yeah, they don't have intel on the top side. They only have intel on the southeast. Just kidding. Wow, what an immediate pick. Doesn't matter if you got the passive. That snipe shot's going to hurt when 4 other people are attacking you all at once. And now, Revelation doesn't need to really do anything. They realize they have a gigantic lead. They can wait. There's still a good amount of time, so certainly we could see a respawn into a refight. I just want to see if they're going to move forward maybe. Try to get one more pick. I think they're searching for somebody with these snipe shots. Pikatif moving out a little bit far forward for some intel, but gets it. Hits the wild Pokemon instead of actually hitting the target that they wanted to.
And now look at this. Oblivion has the sniper tower under, locked down. Aegislash guarding one way, Snorlax the other, and they're going to kidnap Silgrug again. That is the Unitemer from Lapras chasing out Celestial, but the major battle is going on in this bottom corridor. Absolute Unite move is used, but no KO's taken. It's OJ to strike first. Both Inteleon and Aegislash are gone. The 2 major secure tools on top of this Rayquaza.
Kratos took out 2 in the backline so perfectly. Celestial going extremely low. That Mew Unite is amazing from Flareon, preventing so many big KOs this game. Rolling extremely low, but there's just not enough damage. They've got to start burning down this Rayquaza before anybody comes back, and they are making sure that Pikatif is nowhere even close, but they've got to burn it down. There's only 20 seconds left. Take it. Go score. They need a bunch of people to score, please. Stop making us wait. The back half from Pikatif. It's going to go unanswered. They need to score even more. Being stopped in his place. He's going to get this score. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Didn't get the score in. It's prevented. They got 100 points in. Was that enough? I was not keeping track.
Okay, yeah, we should have been doing so much math, but we're doing absolutely none. We will take a look at the scoreline along with everybody else as they come up on the screen. And with those collapse, it looks like Revelation are going to be holding on to their lead. Pikatif with a clutch up back cap and a prevention of those scores.
Revelation doing such a good job of controlling the early game, and
in
maybe
game
it's
2 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, game 2 especially. Game 1 a little bit. It's not necessarily that they dominated Orange Juice in the start. They just didn't let them do what they usually do.
Yeah, no, it was tough. It was some interesting back-to-back games. The Revelation going to be sticking to their same band strategy. Orange Juicers right there in tandem. Kratos will be in that first pick position, but will be handed it over to Roland. That side up just so phenomenal. I don't think that is a problem at all. Dispenza going to be running back on that Suicune game after game.
Really an amazing showing from this Suicune, from Dispenza's Suicune in particular. Like I said, we got to see that essentially won the game in the very end. Clutch timing of some freezing. We've seen a lot of just great usages of the CC combinations that Suicune has, and that's what you got to do if you're playing it as a support. You got to play around that more than you're playing around the damage. It's exactly what Dispenza has been doing all weekend.
Okay, so OG is going to be going back to this Buzzwole. It did have a tough time kind of with the range that Revelation was playing in last time, not to mention Aegislash pretty good at getting that unstoppable with the wide guard, but there's a lot you're trying to prevent. I'm curious where Kratos goes in central area. We've seen a couple of options now. We saw that Leafeon, we saw the Talonflame. It's going to be a full compositional repeat for Orange Juicers, and again, I don't think it's a bad thing at all. They did essentially win that game for 9 minutes.
I think that especially the Talonflame was working extremely well. In that final fight, Kratos was in the perfect place. What?
No, I was correcting myself. I forgot they lost early game to Revelation. But yes, in that late game, they were doing a whole lot better.
But yes, so like I was saying, the Talonflame I think did extremely well in that final fight. It was a big reason why they were kind of in the situation where they had a free win of it was a slow free win, but it was a free win of the Rayquaza, and it just hit all of its targets perfectly. We are going to see the double Excel on both OG and Kratos. That's going to be, and one on Flareon's. So I don't think they had those all last game, right? Maybe they did and I just missed them.
I do think that Flareon's at least had that identical item composition. But yeah, so really looking for some of those early KOs. Orange Juicers hoping to make what happened in game 2 happen again. Celestial on this Metagross, it has been picked a decent amount of tournament at that 11% mark. It's no Snorlax at 78, but it is a strong Pokemon. I do think this is a better response into the Talonflame. It is certainly a really, really powerful Pokemon if it can scale. So yet another one of those cases where they really need to be playing for that late game. We've seen the early games be won by both teams in games 1 and 2. Let's see who wins it in this game number 3.
This is, I feel, going to be either a turning point for Orange Juicers. I mean, this is not a hard call to make, but it's got to be a turning point for Orange Juicers, or they're just going to fizzle out. And sometimes it's just not your day. That's just how things go. And so far, it kind of, despite the fact that Orange Juicers did win a pretty tough match previously, kind of, they looked to me like they felt like it wasn't their day. So we'll see if they can turn things around. But if they do, I think this is definitely looking good for 3-0 sweep. It's just all about the mental at this point.
All right, well, NAIC, let's give these teams your energy as we go into game number 3 of our semifinals. Orange Juicers backs against the wall, Revelation on match point.
Ooh, and already we're going to be pushing forward a little bit. Roland surprisingly going for way less invades, I feel, than he usually does. And that just might just be a read of understanding Revelation, understanding maybe that there's not as much to gain, or whatever it is, just the pacing that they want to change up. But I do love seeing Roland make the invade, so it's a little bit sad. Whoa, again, that's a very similar situation to what they did last time. They fought exactly in that same top tall grass. The moment they realized they could potentially get a pick, they both just rushed in. Unfortunately, this time it was Psyduck, who is immortal, and so was able to just walk away.
Well, he activated his mysterious power, but don't worry, he had a headache right after, so it's okay. Don't worry about him. Ooh, Celestial being very aggressive in the bottom path, but it's actually Pikachu to pick up that first KO on the Snorlax. Big tackle play for them. Oblivion is yet to reach level 5, but they do pick up one of those wild Pokemon and are able to achieve that. I think Pikachu definitely thought they were absorbing that boosted auto attack a little bit shy.
Yeah. They're like, oh, wait a minute.
Oops, my bad.
But they're going to be continuing to push on the bottom side. Orange Juicers, well, no, maybe not. They're going to back up. They were looking to see if they could pick up anything. This does seem to be a little bit of a slower game. There were already some KOs, some points scored. Revelation hasn't scored anything, but I believe Orange Juicers hasn't gotten a KO, so they're just waiting to find something. Oh, that's a pretty big difference. Into the eject button back into the freeze, and now Aegislash pushing forward. This is going to be a big KO with Pikachu in the back as well. That is huge for Revelation.
Yeah, heavy slam eject play from Pikachu. Not only does that clear out a few enemy Pokemon, as a ton of points gained, Orange Juicers are favoring that EXP gain though. So Kratos at level 8 still has a minute to achieve that level 9 before the first major set of objectives is going with the Brave Bird. So one of the few Brave Bird players we have in our tournament, Oblivion, on a sneaky spy mission befitting of the Inteleon, but does get the recall.
Yeah, I think the Brave Bird is a great call. We saw that last time as well, and it seemed a little bit harder to counter from the Wide Guard. The last time I said that, immediately was countered by Wide Guard. This time, I made sure that they were very apart from each other on the map, so I didn't curse it. But 5 stacking bottom for Revelation, and I think pretty much immediately Orange Juicers are going to realize that. They're going to have to back up. Luckily, we see Zugrug pretty tanky, trying to get out of there. Flareon's getting caught a little bit. Zugrug going down. The snipe shot an inch away from that new tail, and that is going to be a goal zone. Maybe going down. They're going to leave it at 2. They actually don't even have enough points to break it except for trying to get it. Oh, I guess they can overdunk it by 1 now.
Yeah, Celestial is running the attack weight on the Metagross. Oh, and Celestial actually, that's so funny, denied their level 9 on that middle ball toy because Roland broke the gold zone on the other side. I mean, criminal activity there. Celestial will be evolving to Metagross, that supercomputer, very shortly.
That's right, 4 brains. That's what we learned today.
So many brains.
So many brains. Dispenza is going to be rotating up top, and they've got to be careful. Well, Dispenza alongside an Aegislash. They've made a lot of really good flanks, I think, on the side of Revelation through the center area. And oh, look at this. It's a little bit of a sneaky spot. They didn't immediately go for the middle birds. They actually waited to see if anybody else was showing up, but they showed up a lot later. Flame Sweep going to go through the middle, and whoa, awkward little barrier push, I think, to stop the attack from the Talonflame. We are going to see the Unite coming out from OG, and they are going to pick up 2 KOs, although it's a 2 KO streak from Zugrug, interestingly.
Yeah, Zugrug getting involved on this Lapras. I mean, kind of proving this pick throughout the match. A really phenomenal push with that Water Pulse, a whole lot of healing, whole lot of shields to work with. Pikachu, again, in this position where, unfortunately, all their friends have been knocked out, so they just want to go back to the party.
Yeah, it's a good way to go back. It's a little bit faster. Plus, you get to say hi to the other team, and you're like, hey, guys, how's it going?
Yeah, bit of an Irish goodbye for the rest of their teammates, so it was a bummer to see, but that's all right. They will all be returning to the central area for yet another fight. It feels like OJ and Revelation love hanging out in this position, not only just for information, but also a whole lot of experience spawning into that map at any given time. And both these teams looking to try to steal a KO. We're getting into that level range where one knockout is a tremendous amount of EXP.
And I gotta say, this is easily the closest of the 3 games they've played so far. I mean, 3 points difference when you're at this much score is pretty wild. The level difference is very, I would say, pretty insignificant. It is slightly in the favor of Revelation, but not in a way I think that matters enough for it to really change this game. And they are looking for this Red Rock burn down. That's something that I said Revelation were so good at an attempt to steal, but no, it's going to be Aegis/Slash. Linear getting that secure. They're chasing it down. They're chasing the entire enemy team down 2 KOs, going for a third, and Roland might not be able to escape this situation. Okay, they are not even going to chase. That's the Psyduck effect. They want to instead rotate up top. They realize, hey, the longer we attack this, we're not getting the XP in the middle, though we're not going to get the Regieleki, we're not going to get anything else, and it's certainly not worth KOing one support Pokemon.
An interesting set play from Orange Juicers in that last team fight. Taking that team fight kind of preemptively without their defender, because Zugrug was on a mission to Lapras Express from the top side of the map all the way around behind the squad. And ultimately, it does not result in them getting the Reggie, neither of which, as Regieleki is now walking towards that tier 2, OJ very happy to give that one up. A tiny amount of points in the grand scheme of things, and it's going to go back to farm.
And again, after seeing just basically the past 2 objectives, I think I can say pretty clearly that win or lose, Orange Juicers really need to look at this game at specifically how they approached their objectives versus how Revelation approached the objectives, because Revelation have been in complete control of basically every single objective in every single game. They are just there so preemptively, they're rotating so quickly, they've got the secure on board, they know exactly who's doing what, they burn it down immediately, and it's all looked really good. But this is a little bit scary as there's a few more members of Orange Juicers there than maybe they first thought. The snipe shot will connect on Roland, but they are going to continue. They say, hey, you know what? That hurt me, but now I know that you're all over there. Double KO for OG, and we're going to have to see Oblivion back all the way up with a Pika Diff escort.
OG with some really sick moves. They're actually canceling the Metagross Unite move with the Smackdown. That could have been devastating. All of a sudden, Metagross gets those extra shields and a giant wall comes up. We could be looking at another Revelation teamfight win, but OG turning that one around for OJ.
I love that combination of names.
Yes. It's almost OP.
Oh, almost, but not quite.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be nerfed. Oh, okay. This is actually a really awkward timing for this Registeel. Everybody wants it, and they do want to fight for it, but we're at the 2-minute 40 mark, so they are going to be able to KO Roland. These snipe shots just coming in. Nobody has really answered Oblivion yet this game. Big freeze as well. That's going to stop and... Oh, my goodness. Okay, 2 more down.
All right, Kratos with a big Brave Bird, but unfortunately with that aerial ace off a cooldown, no way to get out, no way to deal additional damage. They are going to get KO'd, hopefully getting them a little bit closer to earning back that Flame Sweep Unite move, as they will be spawning in with only around 7 to 8 seconds before that Rayquaza spawns, meaning that Revelation, with this Inteleon base comp, yet again gets priority positioning around the Rayquaza.
Well, that is the ultimate silver lining. They do get the Flame Sweep back, so that's something, but an immediate engagement off the bat. Roland going down before this fight even begins. They're diving all the way in, splitting them up. Flareon's having to use that Unite just to disappear and return in the middle of it. I mean, they won't go down, but again, that's so many resources. Everybody's being split up. Rayquaza started to take some damage, and it's just all Revelation on the board. Flareon's one of their only last chances, but 2 members trying to space them out. We do see Selgrog as well in the southeast side. Everybody else running back in. This might end up with a flip if we do see Orange Juicers decide to prevent the reset. However, they're actually going to continue with the fight. Okay, the Sai giving a little bit of damage reduction towards the Lapras, but it only buys a few precious seconds. 2 Pokemon down for both sides. Aegis/Slash, Suicune, and Metagross for Revelation. Buzzwole, Psyduck, and it is the Aegis/Slash. Revelation, 3 games in a row, has secured the Rayquaza. I cannot tell you how strong I think Aegis/Slash is right now. That coup de grace was everything. It secured so many objectives. Get out of here. The surf away, it's not going to be enough. And truly, I don't think there's any way that they fully defend this huge push. Celestial actually just going back. There's a minute left. The score lead is actually not as significant as it could be. Suicune going back as well. I'm not sure if they still have their shield. Celestial has about 1 hit left of their Rayquaza shield. Okay. So this is doable. This is doable. 120 points exactly. They could get that on 1 goal zone.
Yeah, another situation where the clock is going to be a really tough enemy to fight against. Pikachu taking a tremendous amount of damage. That block shield already gone, but they just replenish with that power nap. OG Unite move lands into that main defender. They need to take out this opposition to even open up the avenue for scoring. Inteleon takes down the buzz wall, and now they're all pushing towards this tier number 2.
Pikachu still up after all that. We're going to see Sugrug go down. We're going to see 4 members, 5 members down. Orange Juicers no longer stand a chance as Revelation, within, I would say, a 3-0 upset, will be the ones to advance to the Grand Finals.
Welcome to the World Championships, Revelation, and welcome to our Grand Finals, as they will be going to Sunday to play for a chance at a championship NAIC title.